Yo. Mic check. More the Masters podcast. Your host, Made of Course. Clap it up for me. Coming back. Another Thinking Out Loud. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank all the supporters, listeners, anybody who shared the podcast, listen to the podcast, feedback about the podcast, message me about the podcast, watch the podcast, send the podcast to other people who watch podcasts. I just want to thank everybody for supporting every week, every time I drop. It doesn't go unnoticed. It feels amazing every single time. And I'm grateful for it. I'm very grateful for it. Especially knowing that, everybody don't get supported, in ways that they want to get supported in. So when I drop and I get feedback, even if it's one thing, two things, it always means a lot to me. So I definitely want to say thank you for anybody who watches and gives me feedback or who just watches. And sometimes, people watching, they don't say nothing at all. And that's what's up too. Real quick, shout out to everybody for supporting the last few episodes I did. The Thinking Out Loud, the Deja Cooper episode, and then the Darren Shine episode. Especially the Darren Shine episode did very well. So I want to commend everybody for watching that and sharing that. And shout out to Darren Shine for giving me an amazing podcast-based interview. Wasn't shorter stories. Very detailed. It was amazing. And if you go back and watch, the dopest thing about when I do interviews or when I have podcasts, I don't purposely try to go look at older stuff per se, but I do like the fact that when I do get somebody who has 1, 2, 3, whatever episodes out, podcasts out other places, I really like my chances of having the best one for that individual. And that's whether the person says it, that's whether the people listening say it. I like that. And I know Darren Shine has done other interviews here and there, but I think ours was so in depth just because of my line of questioning and then the way he answered questions and how deep he was going into some stories. It was just a good mesh. But I'm going to get back to that in a second because I do want to talk about podcasts and just guests and things like that. But one thing I want to get into early on is I live in the city, small city, but it's a lot of politics involved. I think a lot of times we, myself included, we like to say things like, "Oh, I don't really do the politics," or "I don't really dibble in politics." But I've said on this platform plenty of times, and I'll continue to say it. I'll die on that hill. It's politics in every single thing. So the idea that you think you don't do politics because maybe it's not the presidential election, it's not your local election or commissioners or state officials, elected officials. It's politics in anything, sports, neighborhood stuff, school stuff, classroom, your job. You know what I'm saying? It's inside of a store, your neighborhood association, the PTA meetings, like coaching, teaching, students. It's all of that is politics. I think for somebody like me or anybody who has a voice. Now everybody got a voice, but you know what I mean when I say voice. I mean a voice, like a real voice. One that has influence. It's influential. It's when you say something, it can sway the way somebody views something or an entity. That's what I mean when I say voice. And I think as long as you have a voice, you're in politics anyway. But how deep you're in it and how smart you maneuver through the politics is what's going to be what you be measured on. And for me, there was some things happening in the city last week with elected officials and things like that. I want to say this first before I talk about anything like that. When it comes to serious cases, things that can put a stain on someone's name, can ruin a reputation in a real way. I don't mean a jokey joke way, ha, that was funny type of way. I mean a real way, like your reputation being ruined can hurt your income, can affect how your children look at you, how your family look at you, how your friends look at you, how you're accepted in the community or not accepted in the community, things like that. When things like that happen, I really do like to sit back and watch and let it play out itself, but also watch for the facts and the opinions and just all of those things that come with it, rather than talk about it because it's a news headline right then and there. Like, I pride myself in the type of media I do on. I never need to be the first one to talk about something. Like, clap it up for me for that, bro. Seriously. I never need to be the first one to talk about a topic. One thing I will say, and it could be the competitive side of me. If I choose to speak on a topic, I'll have the better talk about the topic though. So believe that, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a better talk about the topic. Me being first, it means nothing. I think a lot of times we in a society, we in a society that is driven by, I gotta be first one. I gotta do it now. I gotta say something now. And we don't have to sometimes. Sometimes we can wait till the facts come. But I want to say this: if you're somebody who feel like the facts, if you're saying the facts, cool. You know, I can't knock you. But I want to speak on it in the totality standpoint from the media side, right? The media side, and then the political side, because it's two different sides. It's gonna be times where it's gonna be something said about somebody who probably was on this very podcast. Here's the thing: when I had them and I sat them down, I developed a rapport with them, probably, right? So we spoke about things, whether it be intimate conversation or just about their life. We build the rapport, right? And that's why I'm gonna talk about this later. Etiquette and the way you carry yourself is so important. Based on how someone carries themselves and the version of them I was able to experience and see, will determine how I interpret or how I move when a headline drops about said person. And so this particular person that a headline dropped about, I feel like that person's name, the last name, is very prevalent in the city with positivity, positive things. I haven't never heard anything negative. I've never seen anything negative. Doesn't mean it's not there. It just didn't cross my desk. And that's important because when things do drop, whether it's a title, some bad news, negative news, it allows me to sit back and say, hold on, let me make sure I got all the facts right, because my dealings with this individual, or this last name, or this entity, or this group have been nothing but positive. So I need to give them that, I'm not going to say leeway, but just give them that benefit of the doubt, right? So when I talk about the politics side and the media side, this is what I'm talking about here. A lot of times you build rapport, you network, right? You build a relationship with somebody, and you don't do it for this reason solely, but because you have done it, you put your groundwork in to show somebody who you are, like who's your character, and vice versa. When things happen that vehemently saying is untrue, or you're denying, or it's just something against you, you get that benefit of the doubt because you built this rapport and people have seen the side of you, like that side is foreign. Not saying that it's always going to be, that side is wrong, because it could be right. We just don't know that. But the benefit of the doubt comes into play. And I think in media, or just if you have a voice, where the politics come into play is when how you choose to handle that, right? So there's certain topics that I will personally not talk about. People say I troll, and I do troll, but they say I troll, I start trouble, I stir the pot. I do that for things that's funny, right? I'm not really stirring a pot or starting trouble or doing things like that for something serious. Like, you never hear me talk about local murder cases, you know what I'm saying? Local rape cases, or false rape cases. Like, you don't hear me talk about them kind of things, because those are serious topics. Not that I can't cover it or I won't cover it, right? But in media, I really feel like when you talk, like when you talking and you're using your mouth, pause, but you talking and you got a voice, right? People look for that voice for certain topics. It's certain things people will tag me and message me and say, yo, I was waiting until you said something about this, man. I knew it, because it's funny. I'm a funny guy for the most part, so I'm going to joke about funny stuff. A murder case don't happen, and people don't hit me up saying, man, I wait for you to cover that murder. I don't do that. Like, it's real cases, like real life situations, I try to stay out of, because it's people real life. I would rather somebody else come on here and talk about their real life than me commentate on it, that's always my thing. However, if I don't like a person, or I haven't had a positive interaction with a person or individual, I probably am more inclined to talk about them because they haven't won that benefit of the doubt grace with me. It's just that simple. Like, you get that if you won that. Like, if something was, my brother did something tomorrow, right, and it was news headlines, I feel like because of, on the strength of me, there's certain people that wouldn't talk about it because of our rapport, and maybe they don't want to post it on their timeline because I might be on their timeline. Like, it's a respect thing, right? And I try to do the same thing. So to bring it back to the forefront, when there was this thing last week where, elected official and, somebody being suspended and the misuse of funds after the hurricane and things of that nature. I really have this much information, zilch, zero. I got zero information about anything dealing with that. I seen the headline, that's it. Media is a funny game, man. You get the headline, you get a picture. The picture, the guy looks confused. The headline is saying that there's been misuse of money. That's the media for you, bro. Like, bro, I can't make that. That's the media for you, because before you don't have to look at the article, read nothing, watch a video, nothing for you to get a picture of what they're trying to paint. Now, whether this is true, false, I don't know. However, politics, right? I purposely chose and still am choosing to be quiet about that, and it's more so because of what my voice means, right? My voice. I don't want to talk about something where I don't have facts. I don't want to talk about something I'm not well versed in. Yes, I do go to meetings where they're downtown. I do go to commissioners meetings. I do watch commissioners meetings. Sometimes all 3 hours of meetings, I do watch them. I do have phone calls with, whether it's Jordan Johnson or, whether it's former commissioners, whether it's whoever it is, I've had these hour-long conversations. So I'm in the know about certain things. Yes, that is true. But I try to be well-versed in things I'm going to speak on. I have zero information about whether or not, funding and funds were given out properly. I didn't try to get one, so I have no experience in that. It's just something I don't know. And I say all that to say, it's okay to not know. Like, we got to be okay with not knowing certain things. It's okay if you just don't know what happened. It's okay if you just don't know, why this could happen. Because the reality of it is this, right? This is on a tangent. We'll be at 13 minutes. It's on a tangent right here. But I was at McDonald's today. It's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm just flowing. I was at McDonald's today, and I was giving my daughter the order, and I said, let me get da 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 da. And the lady was like, drink and sauce, please. I could tell she was aggravated. I could tell. She's aggravated. But I thought about me in my line of work and what I do. And sometimes people call and they say, hey, I'm looking for such and such. I'm like, okay, what's the year? What's the make? What's the model? Like, I need to know these questions, but you got to get this to me already. So why are you not giving it to me, right? But I really felt like, yo, I'm not mad at him. He's not mad at me. The girl wasn't mad at me. I wasn't mad at her. We just fucking working. Like, we don't want to work, right? We just don't want to work. And I thought about that, and I was like, damn, that's crazy how everybody kind of go through the same thing, similar things. Like, you get mad at something. A teacher get mad at a student get mad at a teacher. The person get mad at the drive-through lady. The drive-through person, the passenger or driver, whatever, they get mad at their job. Another job get mad. Like, you're always getting upset about something. I mean, not really mad. It's just, we just tired of working. We just tired of working. That's on a tangent. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, man. And so, I really try to award grace, and I try to award leniency. And I think for people that can't give that, it's disheartening for one, but for the most part, I feel like people just want to have a voice. There's a difference between, somebody having a voice and somebody wanting a voice. And a lot of times you can tell somebody wants a voice because of how long they stay on a topic, what they say about a topic, and just how not versed they are in certain topics, right? But then you got somebody like me or somebody who's vocal about it, because the reality of it is this, man. Depending on the type of relationship you have with certain people, it may sway your judgment or how you view certain situations. So for this particular thing I'm talking about, speaking of Darren Shine, he spoke of this person's dad very well, this is insane, very well in the podcast. I know the younger brother, been on the podcast a few times, cool guy. We are friends on Facebook. out of respect, even if I felt the way, out of respect, I'm probably gonna be more cognizant of my voice and what I'm gonna say and put out to the people, because the reality of it is, because I'm media, because I do talk weekly and I put snips clips out and I'm very vocal about things and I have a voice. When I say something, people are gonna agree or disagree. Those are the two options. They're gonna agree or they're gonna disagree, right? If I say something, people are going to look into it the way I'm saying it, or they're gonna come look into it their own way. Two options. I'm cognizant of this stuff, so I purposely try not to talk too much about things that I feel like are hitting home. Prime example, it was a guy who was being accused of like being, I don't know, rapey with a girl. You know, I don't know if he raped or not, but just aggressive with a woman. And then he was on this 1v20 or 20v1 thing, and a popular guy didn't speak on it, didn't joke about it, didn't say nothing. Not saying anybody couldn't do it. I just didn't do it. Reason being, I'm friends with a sister on Facebook. I felt like, you know what? I don't know if she's scrolling. You know, nobody wants to see about their brother, their family. And I think of myself. I think until you've been in certain situations, you learn to be quiet about. But also, that's tough. Until you've been in certain situations, I think that can make or break how you are in other situations going forward. Meaning, if you ever had or been accused of something you didn't do, and you're a popular figure, or whatever, right? And you see how people talking about you without getting all the information. You see how people downing you, doubting you, like, and you just like, damn, I thought it was cool. Or you feel away, you get depressed, whatever, you feel down. And then it all comes to light. Okay, you overcome that situation. I think when you see that happening from a distance, you're likely to like fall back and get information. I say that's why I love experience. I love experience. I love the fact that I've been through things to where I can make this better decisions because I've been through something similar. Like it's nothing better to me than like vicariously or going through something through somebody else or through a situation, whether it be art, a movie, real life, your friend. Like, no disrespect to my friend, I'm glad he went through that. Now I ain't got to go through that. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad my mom went through that. Now I ain't got to go through that. I'm glad I seen this from a distance. Now I ain't got to go through that. But I think that in media and just in social, especially on Facebook, social media, sometimes we want to be funny too. It's more of a funny thing. I just feel like certain things not funny, and but I feel like sometimes people that make light of things or make jokes of things that are funny or heavy or are going hard because people may have been hard at them. Sometimes it's a retaliation thing too. So I got to keep that in mind as well when I'm talking about this stuff. But yeah, man, I say all to say this, man. When it comes to politics and media, and you got a voice, you determine how loud your voice gonna be or how low your voice gonna be. But nobody can say you don't do politics, because speaking on something is political, it's politics. Being quiet about a topic or a situation or a subject matter or issue is also political as well. So it's just about how you want your voice to be heard, how you want to be remembered, how you want to be looked at. Because, you know, you got to be cognizant of speaking on too many topics are going to require you to speak on topics you don't want to talk about as well. And I think that's why I like to joke, because it's nothing serious. But when you start doing serious stuff, now they're looking at you to talk on all the serious topics. And I might not want to because of maybe my background, maybe things I've been through, maybe skeletons I got in my closet. You know, it's a lot of things it's a lot of reasons why somebody won't talk about certain things. And for me, I try to play the field wise. So I won't speak on every single topic, but I'll speak on some of them, because what happens is you start speaking on too many, you got to speak on them all. And that's the thing. Sometimes people's voice ain't loud or it's not respected because they only speak on certain topics. They won't speak on their homeboys. You know what I'm saying? They won't speak on their situation. They won't speak on that. The streets got politics too. Talk about it. You ain't got to talk about the city politics because it's in the Augusta Chronicle or it's in this dude's outlet. It's a bunch of reasons why you can speak on a lot of different things. So you got to be cognizant of, like, when you do start to speak, you know, what you going to speak on. Now, granted, you can do the hell you want to do at the end of the day. Anybody can. But that's enough about that. I really want to get into this before I get out of here. I want to get into this, man. I've been podcasting for a little while now, man. Since I think 2016 of this month, April 2016, I started a podcast before the big podcast boom, and I learned a lot within this 9 years. I learned a whole lot, and I want to kind of give some game to fellow podcasters, but also podcast guests, future podcast guests, right? I got a question the other day, 21. I got a question the other day on my Instagram. It said, hey, were you nervous when you interviewed such and such? And I had to explain to them. I was like, now what do you mean? And when they broke it down, I said, okay, cool. Yeah, now I wasn't nervous. But let me tell you what went on before and after the podcast. So that's to kind of give you, and I say that because if I think for people wanting to be on podcasts and people wanting to be interviewed or get highlighted or have a conversation on camera, my best advice is a few things. Like, make sure you can speak well enough to hold the conversation. Make sure you're good at answering questions, not just yes, no, I don't know, but some questions. Those answers are going to require stories. It's going to require you to get in depth. It's going to require you to, go beyond the surface of the normal things you would talk about. So if you're going to request to be on a podcast, especially if you're requesting, that's insane. Requesting and not knowing what to say is insane. But if you're going to request to be in a podcast, like, just make sure you got an interesting story. Make sure the podcast you're going to be on matches what you're trying to do. So that's really then, right? So I always talk to rappers and artists, but really it's everybody. It's not no one particular person or one particular profession. The reality of it is this, man. A podcast is sometimes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes. The reality of it is a lot of people aren't interesting enough to be talking for 2, 3 hours. I'm not being funny. It's just most people just not. They're not that great, not that interesting. And I say it to say, if you one of them people, you got to make sure what you're trying to do is aligning with what you're pushing. If you're pushing music and you're pushing a single, or you're pushing your art, you're pushing a clothing brand, maybe you don't need to do an hour podcast. Maybe you don't need to do 90-minute podcast. Maybe you don't do more of the masters. Maybe you go do somebody else's who got a 20-minute podcast, who got a 15-minute podcast. Like, so you don't get exposed. Because what happens is people come on these platforms and they speak and they get exposed for not being able to speak well, not being able to answer questions well, not being able to keep someone's attention. It's like, if I'm watching a podcast for you and you're just answering questions and I'm not entertained, why am I checking music out? You know what I'm saying? If I'm watching a podcast and it's boring and I'm not really feeling it, why am I support what you're doing? Like, at this point, I wanted you to stay far away from me because you're just kind of boring, But I want to give podcast guests a little more etiquette than I'm saying. For me, as a podcaster, when I know I got an interview that day, I'm thinking about it all day. I'm planning. So in my mind, it's taking up real estate in my mind. That's the first thing. All right. So think about this. I wake up 5 o'clock. Wake up in the morning, right? Boom, podcast that day. So this person, this group, is this entity, clothing brand, whatever this person is, she already taking that real estate in my mind, because I'm trying to plan out how I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking about it all day. How I'm gonna approach the podcast, what questions I'm gonna ask, how it might go. I'm playing in my head. Even if I don't want to do it per se, the professional side of me is still doing these things because it's just in me to do so. And so think about that, right? You're doing it all day. And imagine you go to the studio and you're there at 7, but you set up at 7:30 and it's 8:15, somebody not here now. Imagine you had an hour and a half podcast set up because at 9:15 you got to head home and get the kids ready for bed, this, that, and the third. But somebody's not here, or they late, and you ain't heard from them. Or they late and you have heard from them, because some people are professional. They will tell you, hey, I'm going to be a little late. And I'm saying this because a lot of times people realize, be like, oh, this podcast, how about you? How this podcast went this way? Oh, I thought it'd be this way. I thought it would be this. Sometimes it's not about the podcaster. It's the aura, right? It's the aura in the room. I know for me, I'm a very moody person. So if I'm waking up in the morning, and you already made my mind, real estate in my mind, and I'm thinking about how I'm gonna do the podcast all day, and I got my stuff situated and it's going how it's supposed to go, and for some reason or not, you felt like, oh, I'm not gonna come today, I'm gonna be late today, or I'm gonna just do what I want to do. Like, it's gonna piss me off. So being late, I'm gonna just be 100 with you. I don't care what the reason is. Like, don't be late. I don't care what the reason is. Don't ever be late to the podcast. Not mine's. Now, no disrespect to my peers or anybody else. Be late to this if you want to. They might not care. This guy care. I'm gonna be upset. Anybody tell you that, I just get moody when things don't go the way it's supposed to go because I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I just want the guests to do theirs, especially if you reach out to me. Don't reach out to me and be late. It just that shit just not synonymous, right? But people don't realize how much the aura, the energy in the room can make or break the podcast. So I take it back to a few. I said Darren Shine earlier, right? So shout out to Darren Shine. He came in a little bit early. He and his wife, they came in. They sat down. We spoke. We talked for a little minute. I'm setting up. I'm looking at him. We be having a good conversation. So I'm feeling him out. He feeling me out. He see I'm joking already. So it's like, it's already set to be a good conversation because we felt each other out already. He's on time. I'm ready to go. We locked and loaded. I've been thinking about it all day. Everything is going according to plan. So when I sit down, I hit record, we good to go. Ain't no issues. Now I want to take it back. Shout out to Deja Cooper. We still had a good interview, but I'm going to just be transparent. Okay? I don't like to do artists like that. So just in a sense of putting myself in somebody else's shoes, I also know that I could be being very harsh right now, what I'm about to say. But I don't like doing artists like that. So I wasn't really getting up for the interview per se, but the professional in me is like, no, do your research, ask questions about her, go do this. So I get off work. I work 5 to 5. Get off work. I go get my daughter ready, boom, boom. I go watch an interview with Newbie Vet. I go watch an interview with CYTV. Both of them back to back. I watched both interviews as I walked with my daughter around the neighborhood. I get a call, hey, can we push the podcast up? I'm like, up? Up, why? You know, oh no, push it back to 9. You know what, sure, why not? I could use the extra rest. That's fine. I'm gonna still be there at 8, but you wanna come at 9? Cool. I mean, yeah, whatever. Okay, no problem. I get here, I get another phone call. Hey, what's up? Hey man, I locked my keys in the car. I might be a little late. Maybe 9:45. All right, cool. Professional. You know, things happen, right? So I'm already aggravated at this point. I've been up since 5 in the morning. I'm tired. So now I'm aggravated, but I'm still gonna be professional, but I'm aggravated. But I'm respecting the courtesy call. I'm respecting the call in advance. It wasn't 5 minutes to, 30 minutes to. We talking about an hour advance every time. I'm respecting that. I don't like it still. I still don't like it. I'm respecting it though. All right. So we get here. She got somebody with her. We didn't discuss that. But okay. I understand you're a young lady. I get it. Cool. I'm gonna grab this person a seat. Extra work for me. Why not? Grab a seat, sit down, boom. I say it to say this, man, because I want to drag it out. But you look at what I'm saying with the Darren Shine episode, and then this episode is like, yeah, it's gonna be 2 different episodes because now I'm in 2 different spaces. I'm sitting here for hours and change. I'm tired. I'm getting tired as time go by. Now in my mind, I'm shortening the interview. I'm like, I do 90 minutes most times. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do an hour. I'm really trying to take shortcuts in my planning, which is something I don't do. And so I'm saying like to say, like, you know, your etiquette, being on time, being punctual, being somebody who can speak to certain things, all that matters. Because also, I do feel like sometimes when you're younger, and this is probably more so on the Deja side, I think that she did give a good interview. I wouldn't give it that. It was a good interview to me. I learned a lot about it, and I thought it was cool. With that being said, I also feel like people can tap into themselves a little more, so they can give you more. So what she gave me was good, but I know it could have been more there. But I also know that I wasn't my best self because I was tired, I was aggravated, I felt the way, I wasn't up for the podcast. So it's so much that go into a episode or an interview that people don't really realize how much it affects both parties, whether it be because like even her, I don't know how day it was. She could everything she was saying could have been true. Running late, lost the keys in the car, couldn't find a sitter, gotta get her hair done, you gotta look cute because you're gonna be on camera, you gotta pick your friend up, you do all that. I don't know how her day went, but I know that it wasn't, things didn't go according to plan for our podcast. And I think that that's important for things to go according to plan because you want to do things to a T. Because I never know what somebody's going to say. I never know how well they're going to answer, how bad they're going to answer, whether I got to carry the episode or not. And these are things that I always think about too. So I say this for podcast guests. If you're going to be on a podcast, like if you're going to be on mine, you got to look at my podcast. That'd be the problem sometimes too. I think people, I genuinely do think people are naturally fans of More Than the Masters. I will say that. So clap it up for y'all. Okay? I would definitely say that. People are naturally fans of More Than the Masters. I agree. However, I don't know how in depth people are or how well versed people are with the content. I don't know if they know how long I record. I don't know if everybody know all the questions I ask. I don't know if people know that when I post these reels and they 90 seconds or they a minute or they 2 minutes or they 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, that I'm not cutting and breaking up. It's really, really how it is. I'm not cutting stuff up. I'm not cutting 6 minutes and making it 90-second clip. A lot of times, more times than not, I'm not doing that. So what you're seeing is really organic and true and real, which is why I'm not crazy about the clips because people see the clips and then they say, hey, I love your podcast. I want to be on. Well, yeah, you love More Than the Masters, like what I do, you like the product. You don't like the podcast, you like the product. And I say the product because a 90-second reel, a 2-minute reel of a 90-minute interview is a very small, infinitesimal, yeah, new words, a very small portion of what I do. So if you're only watching those little small portions, you don't know what I do enough to know that you like the podcast. But you want a small portion as well. You want that limelight, you want that highlight, you want those reels to promote yourself, and you're seeing someone else on a podcast and speaking, and you want that same kind of look, that same energy, that same response, whether they get a bunch of likes, bunch of shares. You want that. And so you reach out. Hey, I want to do a podcast, da-da-da-da. This is the thing, you got to stop there. You might not be a 90-minute talker. You might not be an hour talker. You might not know how to answer questions yet. Hey, tell me about your upbringing. Oh, what you mean? Fuck it, never mind. You know? I just think that, for me, I can't speak for my peers. My peers might be cool with all that stuff. For me, I'm really big on quality over quantity. So like I would rather do one podcast a month. I don't want to do one a month, but I would rather do one a month than do 4 a month and it's 3 filler and then one good one, or it make up for 1.5 good ones. I want to have good podcasts every time, good conversation every time. And that's why I pick certain guests out. And then that's why there's certain guests I will wait on. There are certain guests that I will wait on to do an interview. I'm going to hit them up one time. I ain't going to hold you now. I am not hitting up somebody 3, 4, 5 times to do a podcast. I'm just not going to do it. If I ever reach out to you, if I want to do a podcast, I want to do it. Whether the time expired or not, it's not going to expire with me because it's not, the way I answer, the way I view things and how I shape the podcast, the offer is always extended. It's just about whether, you're ready to answer those questions. You're ready to be in that hot seat. Because people come in this podcast, believe it or not, you got lights, camera, and action. Like, it's really on. People come in like, oh, my God. And now you're already kind of nervous because the lights is on you. I'm like, you ready? I'm in serious mode. I'm a jokester most times. Now I'm being serious. You ready to go? I'm not playing. I'm not laughing. I'm not cracking jokes. We just going. And sometimes that's too much for people. And so, for me as a podcaster, I tried my best to get the best guests, mature guests, people who are happy with themselves enough to talk about their life. You got people who don't want to say nothing about their life at all because they're not happy with it. You got people that don't want to talk about their life because they got skeletons in the closet they ain't addressed yet. All that matters. Everything I'm saying matters in the podcast. But when it comes to attitude, energy, that punctuality is important. If I set the podcast up at 7 o'clock, I need you here at 6:50. I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. I need you here at 6:50. 7 o'clock, I'm good though. I'm good with 7 o'clock. 7:10, I'm like, all right now. It never took long for me. I promise you, it don't take long for me to just, I don't want to do it no more. Anybody, it's gonna be real. Hey, if you know me, if you know me personally, if you ever know me, vote now. Has it ever took long for me to be like, hey, fuck this, I'm good? Like, for real, it don't take long. I need to be. I've been seeing this a lot today for some reason, which I don't agree with it, but it's fine. Everything doesn't need to be studied. But anyway, it does need to be studied. How quick I can be like, I'm straight. Like, I think I need to be studied on that because I will be fully invested in something and like one thing will piss me off. Don't worry about it. Yep. I'll walk away from something in a heartbeat. I'll walk away, don't look back. For real, I don't care. Wednesday, we could be like this on Wednesday. Wednesday, we could be like, man, hold on. Wednesday afternoon. Ain't never take long for me. But in all seriousness though, it just don't take long for me to like really get annoyed because I feel like this is how I feel, right? And I always use money because I feel like money makes people happy, and it's something people really want. And I think when you substitute something for something people really want, you give yourself clarity on anything. I don't care what it is, love, happiness, whatever. Put a bag of money on there, and then just make whatever is you trying to compare to, make it that bag of money, and you're gonna get clarity. So let's do it now. Let's say I tell you, hey man, look, I got $15,000 in cash for you, right? I need you here at 7 o'clock. I guarantee you a nigga be out there at 6:50. Hey, that's all the clarity I need. Cause now if you're not here at 6:50 or 7 o'clock to be on time for the podcast, I'm gonna text you. So it's fuck me, huh? It should be studied how many times I be telling people that. That's nothing that should be studied. But I'm joking about the study thing. But in all seriousness, for real, everything ain't got to be studied, bro. It's fine. But I get it. It's just, play on words, just meaning like, hey, I do this a lot. We get it, bro. It need to be studied, bro. But for me, like, I ran into this all course over my time with podcasting, like within these 9 years of picking wrong guests. And sometimes it's me. It's not always the guest. A guest could be horrible, not answering questions well, but at some point, for me, I'm an accountability person, so I feel like, okay, what did I see to make me think this person's a good guest? So I learned early on, boom, just because they comment and they funny on Facebook, don't mean they funny on camera. Just because they post dope stuff on Facebook, don't mean they can have a good 2, 3 minute, 4 minute conversation on camera. Just because, they one way here, don't mean it's gonna correlate to the camera. But you learn never try and fail. And I get aggravated now because I feel like I do a good job of realizing like, okay, this person's good for this person's good for that. And that's why I don't say no to people. When they say, I want to come on a platform and talk about that, I don't say no. I just redirect. So we try to make other platforms, Main and Slim with the platform, we try to make. As an artist or anybody who can't speak for like a deep conversation, but you want to be on a podcast, here's my advice to you, man. And when I say this, people think I'm joking. I got 2 things you could do. The first one is go live. That's the first thing you could do. We in a social media era where like you can go live from your phone and connect with your fans. You can go live from your phone and connect with an audience. So if you just trying to connect with an audience and get them to know a different version of you, but you don't do well with lights, camera, action, people asking you questions, this high quality, don't waste my time. Don't waste my parents' time. Just get your little iPhone. If you got a Droid, sorry to hear that, but get your iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Hit the live button and go ahead. And then have your fan base ask you questions and you build them that way. That's one thing. If you know you can't talk on a podcast, because the podcast ain't for everybody. Like guest wise, it's not. Well, I ain't gonna start. Guest wise, it ain't for everybody. We'll just stand there for now. Another idea you can do is, this is for anybody, not just artists, not just rappers, not just people that's selling a brand, but anybody who just wants to be in this world that like, oh, I want to be interviewed. I want to be highlighted, whatever, right? You write your own questions down. Write your own questions down that you know you want to answer. As you write them down, you think of good answers for these questions. You hit up somebody, whether it be me or another podcast or whatever, say, hey, look, I want to be on your platform, but I got the question I want you to ask me ready. Y'all collab, y'all do it that way, boom, you put it out and you go from there. But wasting time, we got to stop this wasting time thing, man. Like we got to stop coming on podcasts without having no real story to tell. We got to stop, selling ourselves interesting to people, and then they waste their time setting up, putting the cameras up, you know what I'm saying, thinking of you all day how to do the podcast for you to give these dry answers where they carrying the episode, or how I determine if I'm carrying an episode is like this. Once I make the final version of it, I just skip through the episode. If I hear my voice too much, I carry the episode too much, because there's no way in an interview that every time I'm going to a time, whether it's 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 17 minutes, I shouldn't just hear my voice. At some point, you got to answer a damn question, please. Like, come on, man. At some point, you got to answer a question. And I find myself doing that sometimes where I am guiding. I'm trying to get out of that guiding sense. I don't want to guide. I want to ask you a question. So tell me about your upbringing. Like, how was that? Was it, your mom, dad, brother, sister? And I want you to go into it like, yo, y'all, ask me that question. Somebody ask me that question. You, right there in the red shirt. Don't you never ask? Ask me the question. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, me, my mom, my dad left when I was 7. My mom and them got divorced. But I'm the oldest of 3. I got a younger sister and a younger brother. I'm 6 years apart from my brother. Me and my sister was real tight, though. But yeah, I'm a boy. Well, I grew up listening to Mary J. Blige, you know what I'm saying, the house cleaning and stuff like that. My pops was there, though, definitely was there. But I grew up with my mom. I became a man in the house about 7, 8 years old. And so that was a struggle in itself. Already right there, the interview is relaxed. He can take his notes, or she can take her notes, go to the next question, or she could build off what I'm saying. I done said a lot. Dad left at 7, 6 years apart from my brother, man in the house at 8, little sister, mama's boy, Mary J. Blige, cleaning up. You got 6 things. 6 things you could do follow-up questions on. So for that one question, tell me about your upbringing. Tell me about your upbringing. And that little spill I just gave you, which is off the top, by the way, but that little spill I just gave you, we could make 6 questions out of that. Favorite Mary J. Blige song to clean up to. Favorite Mary J. Blige album. What's it like being a mama's boy or whatever. What was it like being a man in the house at 8? What's you and your sister relationship like? What's you and your brother relationship like? It's so many questions you can ask that one question in my own response that we be flowing now. We're flowing. I need to teach a podcast etiquette class because that was real good. But that's my point. It's like, that's what I want when I'm asking these questions. Sometimes I don't know if people know what the word upbringing means. Like, I don't know if that's like a word that's foreign or what it could be, but we just really got to get to like a higher level. And that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to bash somebody, diss nobody. I'm here to say, look, every platform ain't for you. Every outlet ain't for you. I like Newbie Vet because he don't ask super crazy deep questions. So you can have an in and out. You can have a 25-minute interview with Newbie Vet. And it come out good because he on to the next. He on to the next question. Cool. It's not like a lot of dry space. It could be an hour or it could be 25 minutes. You decide that because based on how you do interviews. And that's for a lot of artists, and that's artist driven. Cool. That may be where they need to be at. More than the masses might not be for your average person that can't speak well, that can't like really dig into their story, like dig into their bag of their life. If you can't dig into it, it's probably not for you. The first more than. So like fuck the masters. I need more than anything. I need more than just a 2-word answer. I need more than just, oh man, I was good in school. Why? Why were you good in school? Like, how? What was it, your grades? Was it your parents, your upbringing? Oh, that's a foreign word. I'm not use that word. Like, I need to know like what like I need to know more. More than. And yeah, man. So like this is stuff that as and I've been doing this for 9 years. So like I've seen it all. I've seen people get better. I've seen some people that just can't speak, and that's fine. And it's not for everybody. And I've had my trial and fail with. I've collabed with other people. I remember doing something at 520 Radio one time. A very popular person. I ain't gonna say her name. We were doing something. We live. It's like 5 cameras rolling. 5 cameras rolling. All right, go ahead. We like 4 minutes into the interview. She like, all right, okay. Can we start over? The fuck you mean? No. We've been filming for 5 cameras for 5 minutes. Baby, let's go. But it's not for those lights, those cameras, it's not for everybody. So some people got to be in a very still environment. So that's why you go live. That's why you have your own questions, or, get you a team, build your own team. You know what I'm saying? Get your own camera and have somebody ask you the questions. One thing I do in one of the masters is when people email me questions, I compile them. And then every so often, I would do a thinking aloud and I answer every single question. And what I do, I go to my email, because it's my notes. Who sent it to me is my notes. I send every person that had a question that podcast. That's what I do. I don't be answering emails via email sometimes. I answer via podcast. This is what I do. Watch the videos. And I'll end with this though. The reason why I'm kind of so hard on like the topic of like, everything not being a podcast sense is because, and it just depends on what kind of podcast it is. If it's a 10-minute podcast about like just jokes, Q&A, yes and no, that's fine if that's the vibe of the podcast. But the vibe of this one, you have to be of a certain echelon. Honestly, I hate to say it like that. You got to be able to speak. You got to be able to tell stories. You got to be able to be funny. You got to be able to be serious. You got to be able to like convey that you're intelligent. You got to know how to read. I'm actually reading a podcast. You got to know your math. I'm going to start having Pythagorean theorem problems up here soon. You got to know all these things, man. You got to know. Like, I really be wanting people to look at the podcast and look at the guests and be like enamored and be wowed by the level of, I don't know, just the people on the podcast, like how smart they are, how intelligent they are, how well-mannered they are, how well-dressed they are, how great their story is, how well they speak, how nice their smile is. Like, that's why you got to laugh, you got to joke, the charisma, their character. I be wanting people to see all of those things because more than. So if they know if Darren Shine, keep going back to him, he's a ball player, he's a trainer, right? But then as you watch his podcast, like, yo, he know a lot about basketball. He know a lot about the game. Like, that's what I got from it. Like, he know a lot about the game. Buck playing ball, he knows the game. Like, he know a lot about humility. He know a lot about humbling. He know a lot about coaching and discipline. Like, it's just certain things I picked up. Those kind of guests I like. And then you'll see if you guests come back on. And it's like, I'm not saying that every guest got to be golden. I would love that. I know it's not going to be the case. Everybody's story different. But I do feel like if you're going to, request to be in a podcast or want to be in a podcast, or, you're accepting invitations to come to podcast, do your research on a podcast. You got some that just, they joke around a lot. You got some that is more straight to the point. You got Slims who like, it's more conversation style. So he'll have topics and y'all talk about them, and that's dope too. But do your research on what the podcast is and ask yourself, hey, does this fit me? Because what you do is a disservice to the podcast. And luckily for me, I've been doing it for a while. So I don't think there's no guest that I really can't handle, in the sense of like, If their story is boring, I will just try to find a good part of their story to expound on. If they can't speak well, I will carry it with personal experience of myself, and we can just go back and forth until they get comfortable enough to tell it. Deja Crew episode, one thing I would say about that, it got better as it went along. But I was upset in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. Not at her per se. I was upset at the day. Things ain't going the way I want them to go. I am upset now, right? I'm aggravated. I'm not upset. I'm aggravated. And my mom doing an hour. Then we start talking, and the questions ain't really, not the questions. The answers I'm getting ain't really flowing. I'm like, okay, this ain't what I really. But as we keep going, my professional side is always there. So I'm all right, come on, let's walk. I'm walking with her. She start riding a bike on her own. Start answering questions a little better. She opening it up now. She's starting to fill me out. We missed that fill out period because she came so late. I didn't have time. Sit down, let's go, record. Welcome on Masters, I got Deja Cooper here. I ain't got time. Like, you came an hour and 45 minutes late. I don't have time to build with you now. Sit your ass in this chair. Hey, you sit there. Be quiet, please. Then the friend's on the phone in the bathroom. My hand in the back. Like, you bringing people in there. They disrespecting the interview. It's like, I'm livid. I'm not upset. I'm aggravated. But still, and that's my thing. And like I said, I have no issue with the interview. I love the interview. I'm going to start clipping it up tonight and post some more clips out there. She was a good person. She spoke well. As the interview went on, I think she's gonna do amazing things. She's very talented. Her songs are amazing. I did listen to her song. She can rap. I will give that to her. She write her own rap, so that's amazing. So no slight to her. But as I did them 2 interviews, I started thinking like, yo, I really got to sit down and tell people like, a podcast isn't for every individual. Some people need to just do a 5-minute interview with the news. Some people need to do a live on their own. Some people need to write their own questions down. Hey, you ask me these questions on camera, I'm ready. I'm answering how I want to do it. Cool. This setting, this world of this podcast, it ain't for everybody. Everybody can't sit down and tell their life story. Everybody not open enough to do that. You know? Everybody not ready to open doors to their life to where they ready to be naked in front of a camera. I mean that in a literal, not literal sense. I mean that just in, figuratively. But everybody not really willing to open up and bear with the interviewer. Cause I get deep sometimes. I ask questions. I get deep. Pause. No homo. No. There too though. I get deep sometimes, but I get deep with the question though. Seriously. And it ain't for everybody, bro. So that's what I want to say, man. I'm sorry that I hold y'all this long. My thing allowed usually about 45 minutes, but I had to really catch my bearings. If you learn enough from me today, man, this is what I want to bring back full circle. I wish I do full circle. Politics, man. Everybody's in politics. If you're quiet about politics, you in it, you just being quiet. But that shows a stance somehow, some way. All right? If you're speaking on it, you're in politics. Just make sure your voice is the right voice. Make sure you're using your voice till its full potential. So meaning get your information, get your research, get your facts before you start talking or just saying anything. But you can do what you want to do. I ain't here to tell anybody what they can and can't do, right? Podcast wise, be on time, be punctual. Help the interviewer out. Like, have questions. Open up. Tell your life story. Give a story. This one time at band camp, my grandma did this, this, that. Like, we need those stories in these episodes. Do your research on the podcast. What it's about. Wait, what kind of question he be asking? What's his agenda? Y'all be asking to come on a podcast and don't even know what kind of question I'm asking. You like the quality? Okay, you look good on camera now. The quality is nice. Congratulations. That's what y'all want. Y'all want the look. The look is not, I look all right. But it ain't about that. It's about what I'm saying. In addition to that. That's what's important. So a podcast is not for everybody. So instead of wasting people's time, wasting anybody's time, do your research. Like, just do what fits what you're doing. If you selling a brand or selling merch, or you an entity and you're trying to push that and you want to be out there and get highlighted, just understand where should you go to get highlighted. What entity is best for you? People got this thing where they want to do all platforms. Don't do that. Don't do that. Less is more, first of all. So get you one good interview, then to get you 7 interviews and like they all trash because you went to the wrong people and then you went to this person and he didn't care. It's not, no. Go to what fits you and what you're doing. That's the best advice I can give somebody right now, especially somebody that's trying to promote themselves or, brand themselves. Branding matters. You go into 7 different platforms, they're asking the same questions or different questions, and you're giving 7 dull interviews. You just branded yourself. You're dull. You're very dull now. Thanks for the branding. Then they want to see you again. Get you one good, dope interview and clip that up and push that up. Shout out to Elmo. Elmo do that. Even though me and Elmo got a few, don't get me wrong. Me and Elmo get down. We got a few. We got 2 good interviews in a live, and that was amazing. But he clip it up. He not oversaturating everything. Yo, man, let me see you again. Man, let me see you again. Man, let me see you again. Nah, we clip it up. We got some good work. He using those, branding himself. And that's what made people come on here. I seen Elmo live with you. Can I come on? It ain't for everybody. I ain't saying no. But you got to make sure the podcast is really for you. Are you interesting enough to be sitting down with somebody for an hour? Plus, talking about your life. Talking about you. Talking about what you do. What you pushing. What you selling. You got to ask up these questions, man. One Master Podcast, we out.